I still think about that spy game. That was a good game. Anyway, but yeah, neither you or I could leave that alone. Okay, so we're going to be continuing our Star Wars thing here, but tonight we're going to be doing a different game system. I'm going to explain the game system in about 10 seconds. Dave will help me by occasionally making skill checks. Very, 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 very simply, you have 5 stats that are going to be pretty straightforward and pretty easy to recognize. And you're going to roll a 2d6 and add that stat. And that number is going to range from 2 up to like somewhere north of 12. Low is bad and high is, well, no. Low is extremely interesting. And high is interesting in a different way. The scale goes something like, basically like 6 or lower is a miss, or things get interesting, things get complicated. A 7 to 9 is what Dave just got there, a mixed success. And if you move your mouse over the 9, you can see what that's composed of. He's rolling 2d6 and adding his canny, which is like intelligence and quick thinkingness and all other kind of stuff.
Which is odd because it shows up as a 5 and a 2, but when I hover over it, it says it's a 1 and a 6. Oh, excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong. I'm looking at the. No, I'm sorry. I looked at the first one I rolled earlier. Yes, there we go.
Yeah, there's 2 of them with identical results but different dice rolls. Throw me another roll there, Dave, would you please?
Sure. How about my cool?
Oh God.
Although I do have to come back and click on a little thing that pops up saying, "Drag me to roll the dice."
What?
When I click on the dice in the character sheet, a little thing comes up on the D20 window that says, "Click and drag to roll the dice." There's a little thing.
Really?
Maybe I've disabled that. Let's see.
That's probably something there to do virtual dice. Or
I have now. Oh, I'm partially covered. I have now gotten rid of that by clicking the disable.
Okay. Cool. Excellent. And we haven't seen. I'm going to keep rolling your candy until we get a decent roll. Your dice are terrible, Dave. Oh, there we go. And anything a 10, 11, or 12 or higher reads as a just an unmitigated success. Call it unmitigated success. 7 through 9 is still a success. It's been described to me and in different texts as a mixed success or a weak success or a success at cost or whatever you want to call it. I think it's the better kind of success because it's the success where you get what you want and things get more complicated. It's a success with a gift to the GM. So that's the basics. And if you look at your character sheets, they're on the same tab as where they were. So that second tab over on the sidebar.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not seeing anything under that. And it's just got a picture of me.
Yeah.
Click on the name. And then click on the word on the tab for character sheet.
I don't have a tab.
I don't have a tab. I just have bio and info and just a picture.
Oh, I know why. Wait, sorry. Because you weren't logged in before, I couldn't give you. You'd never been in this version, this Roll20 world before. I couldn't give you access to be able to control your dude. One moment.
Control your dude, man.
All right. Now, if you close that window and reopen it, you should be able to do that. And let me get Alir here in a moment. Edit. And can be edited and controlled by Catherine. Save changes. All right. Now, if you open up that thing, you should be able to see character sheet as a tab and look at stuff.
There we go.
Better?
That makes more sense.
I'm going to start with the Kana and work my way through here a little bit to kind of give you guys an idea of, and kind of tell you a little bit about some stuff here. Don't worry about the lock, unlock class thing. That just makes it so all the other classes don't show up on the checkbox and stuff. The stats are canny, which is your sort of mental acuity and stuff, quick thinkingness, all that kind of good stuff. Cool is your coolness under fire.
Aplomb.
Your aplomb, that's fine. Deep is your basic spooky force using type stuff. Rugged is your physical toughness and your, it's also what you roll when you're like going into a fight. Cool you use when you're like doing something dangerous under fire. Rugged is when you're just trying to shoot a dude. And suave is your, well, it's your Lando Calrissian. It's the percentage to which you are Lando Calrissian. Numbers range from, well, technically numbers range from -3 up to like +3. Realistically, they go from about -1 to 2-ish. 2 is darn good. So given that you're only adding like 2 to the roll, you can see that the dice ranges don't go too far afield as a general rule. Even adding 2, you don't get too far out of bounds from stuff. And there really isn't, you can help other people and give them a +1 and stuff like that, but it's kind of, that's about it as far as bonuses go. You don't get there aren't situational bonuses, and typically there aren't bonuses from gear or anything like that to the roll. There might be bonuses to the result, things like that. Under improvements, it will show the things that you do or that happen that give you XP. This isn't necessarily all of them, but it's a lot of them. So in Margie's case, well, this is true for everybody. Everybody gets an XP point when you miss. So as a little Band-Aid on the wound, if you roll really poorly, if you get like that miss result, you get XP because we learn from our mistakes. And you check one of your little XP boxes down there right underneath the box. Margie also gets XP if she ends a session having piloted a vehicle into or out of danger. Brag to someone about your. Yeah, I was gonna say breathing. No, brag to someone about one of your ships or your own capabilities. Take a stupid risk or express genuine concern for someone you consider a shipmate or a squad mate. So there's a little bit of role-playing. There's some of it is actions, and some of it is role-playing stuff. Bonds we'll look at. I just kind of dumped a bunch. These are default ones in here. All the character playbooks come with bonds. You should have a bond with everybody else. You can take one of these and you can add new boxes. I would suggest hitting add and like making a bond box for each one of the bonds so they're easier to see. I just did one and dumped some stuff in Margie's case. For example, someone's, blank damaged my starship. I still haven't forgiven them for it. I don't know why, but blank unsettles me. I've been through thick and thin with blank. I trust them. But you can make up your own. Doesn't really matter. If you have like a good scene with somebody and you're like, I kind of want to change my relationship the way it's expressed to something else, that's something we do at the end of the game. And if you have a bond that you feel like has changed, the way it's currently expressed is not true anymore, that's resolved, and you want to write something new in, you do that, and both of you get experience points when that happens. Woohoo! Margie also has moves listed. Can you guys see? You guys can't see the actual sheet, can you? On like Akana.
No.
Okay, so if you open up your sheet, I just want to point this out. On the moves, the name of the move has a little checkbox next to it. And for the sake of cleanliness, you can uncheck that and the description goes away. So if you kind of know what it does, you don't need to worry about it. Or if it's just not relevant right then, you can close it just to kind of clean up the screen a little bit. Some of this is borrowed from somebody did up a character sheet for Masks, which is another game that uses this system differently. It uses the system quite a bit differently. But the character sheet is gorgeous. So I totally stole it and hacked it up and stuff, and it's ugly. I have now ruined it. I'm going to keep trying to not ruin it, but anyway. Margie has Devil in the Cockpit, which is when piloting a vehicle in a high-stress situation, she can roll, and basically she gets like a certain number of points that she can then use to do stuff during the encounter, like ignore all harm from an incoming attack, or pull off a death-defying stunt, or pull someone's ass out of the fire. Things like
We've
that.
never done that before.
No. One of my personal favorite moves, which I gave to Margie mostly because I thought it was amusing, is called Jump First, Think Second. If you go straight into danger without hedging your bets, you get 1 point of armor. If you happen to be leading a squad or a convoy, they get armor too, if they're foolish enough to follow you. And this last move is a move stolen, actually, or it's you have the ability to take moves from other playbooks. This one is one that I wanted for her. Friends Everywhere is basically her family. When you visit a new place, you can declare that you have friends or family there, and then roll your cool. If you get a hit, your friends are well positioned to help you out with something. If you roll really high, their help comes cheap. If you succeed, but it's kind of a mixed success, it does not come cheap. So that's kind of the thing for trying to see if you've got family in the area, like we were about to do back in the city. If you roll poorly, they don't remember you fondly, and things go badly there.
Interestingly.
They go interestingly. Harm is pretty straightforward. If you get hit, you take harm. Start on the left-hand side where there's vitality and start checking them off, however many you get. If you need to check off a box and you don't have a box to check, you're dying. Or you can do other interesting things. There's ways to completely avoid all incoming harm by taking permanent hits to your stats. Luke can tell you how that went and show you his neat biotic hand. There's downsides. I'm not going to say there aren't downsides, but there's always a way to stay alive. Well, not always. There's often a way to stay alive. And finally, luck, which I completely jacked off of another Powered by the Apocalypse game because I just kind of wanted it, and I feel like it's a pretty good Star Wars-y kind of thing, is mark luck to change a roll to a 12, or avoid all harm from an injury. Just boom. Those boxes, you check one, that's what happens. Downside, those are all the boxes you ever get. So save those for the Death Star killing shots and things, or or whatever. I don't want to die, or I really want to kill this dude. Whatever. Gear is pretty straightforward. It basically think of it kind of in Fate terms. Like weapons will have a certain amount of harm that they do, and then certain aspects that are more for narration than anything else, or ranges. Like blaster is close, it's loud, and it's energy. The kiss is small, smuggler fit, reliable, and slow. And you have 2 credits, stuff like that. And there's a few other boxes to make stuff in. I'm not going to go through everybody, but most folks have that. That basic stuff. Margie's dude is pretty much done. I think I'm not going to talk about backup right now. Aleer actually has a move that she needs to pick still because I didn't know what to pick. So I kind of left that one open for you. And you still have one more stat point to allocate, Catherine.
Okay.
So you can change. 3 is the cap. So theoretically, you could put canning up to 3 if you really wanted to. Or you could decide that you want to be better in a fight, or you want to be good when you're acting under pressure, which is cool, or you want to not be. I went with the traditional hacker where the suave is kind of low. But in a different way that Dave Suave is kind of live, where he's totally friendly and just constantly keeps unknowingly putting his foot in his mouth. And if you look at your can't stop the signal, it kind of describes. So you have like a thing called can't stop the signal, which is like the cool stuff that you can do with your portable terminal. And then Black Hat and Program are both like programmer type things you can do.
Yeah.
That tell you some moves. And if you look at can you get to the over on the Google Hangouts group? There was a link to the Slicer's playbook. Did you see that? If you look at that, the second page. Yeah, if you look at that, the second page has a list of moves. You already have Black Hat in program, but you can pick another one. Do that and just hit the little add button there under moves and add it, and decide what you want to have, whatever looks good to you. And if nothing appeals to you, talk to me, and you can always grab one of your level up moves is picking a move from another playbook. So if you can describe some other thing you want to be able to do, that's fine too. Like if you want to have, I don't know, I can't think of what that might be.
I like these.
They're some of them are quite fun. I liked
Invincible.
I did that just for you and Dave. One of the moves is called I Am Invincible.
Click, click, click.
Yep. I am invincible, which basically lets you roll your really good stat in certain situations where you would not normally roll your really good stat for the situation. Like when you roll to stand in defense or to go in blazing, you would roll rugged. Your rugged is terrible. However, if you're doing it for virtual combat, then you roll your canny. It's a neat move if you happen to be a hacker with a high canny. So you need to, and there's quite a few neat moves like that let you swap stats around and stuff. So that you need to, pick a move and you need a point in your stats.
Where do we find the moves?
Okay, so for you, Margie, you kind of have all your moves already, but if you look at for you, there's a link, and Dave, you might, because you've been poking around all of them. I shared a link to the directory on Google Drive where everything's at, and there's sort of a collection of all the playbooks, and ACE is your playbook.
Okay.
And if you look at what you're looking for is SWW Omega edition or something like that. It's like just a 20-page PDF. Omega edition edit or something like that. And like 2 pages in after basic moves and secondary moves, there's a page that starts with ACE, and it's 2 pages. So the first page is like character generation stuff, and the second page is where the moves are listed and so forth. Your Friends Everywhere move is actually a move taken out of the Scoundrel playbook, so you're a bit of a mix, appropriately.
I was more thinking for Catherine. So.
Oh right, yes, cool. Dave, I think you're done except for needing to put bonds, like actually assign them to people, which everybody sort of needs to
Bonds. James Bonds.
James Bonds. And Hesmet has all of his stat points, and I couldn't remember you did homegrown explosives and smash. I didn't know what moves you wanted, so if you don't want those, you have to, grab what's handy and go to war is your class ability. You just get that. And I assumed you wanted homegrown explosives, but the other ones I didn't know which ones you wanted, so I just threw some in there so I could say that the page was basically done.
Oh hey, I've been muted this whole time.
Oh, have you?
Yes.
Hi.
Hey.
We thought you were just being taciturn.
Yes. No. You picked what I was going to pick anyway, so.
Oh, there you go. So Hesmet is good at. So we made up a new class book for Hesmet called the Partisan, and his main class ability is you can cobble together working weapons for you or your compatriots out of little more than spare parts and the hope for a better future. When cobbling together a weapon with available parts, roll canny. His canny is not actually very good.
It is not great.
On a 10 or higher, choose 3 advantages and on a 1 disadvantage. On a 7 to 9, choose 2 advantages and 1 disadvantage. On a miss, and that should be on a miss, not one a miss. On a miss, you still choose 2 advantages. The GM chooses 2 advantages and will tell you one of them.
I am perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, so basically you build a weapon that might explode randomly, fragile, illegal, easily traceable, radiation signature visible from orbit, things like that. But hey, you can basically put it together out of the spare parts that you find in your, grandmother's, garage. Anyway. Hesmond gets experience points for getting in a fight with enemy forces, executing a public act of rebellion, infiltrating or capturing an enemy stronghold, or sharing a moment of camaraderie. Aww. And also for missing. Never forget XP for missing.
Yep.
It is in short Kaylee's favorite thing about this game. Or well, Powered by the Apocalypse, Dungeon World, I guess, is the not all the Powered by the Apocalypse games do that, but the ones that do it, she's a big fan of.
Now, Doyce, I will ask you one question here.
Mm.
In the playbooks, it only has 5 spaces for experience.
Yes, I changed it because
sheet. Yeah.
yes, I changed it because normally the way the games, the way the rules are originally written, you can only get XP for those 4 things. And since I added the ability to get XP for missing, I also added the amount of XP, the amount of checkboxes you need, because otherwise it would be potentially super fast. Like
Fair enough. Also, you did give us luck from Monster of the Week, so
yes, yeah. So I have there's a couple different tweaks that I did. Oh, so if you look at the basic moves, and I comment on this today, if you look at the basic moves, don't use the basic moves directly out of the book. Use the ones that I shared there on the handout section, because I've tweaked quite a few of them. Going blazing isn't nearly as painful. Isn't quite as painful, I should say. Secondary moves, I changed. Face death is different. Heal up is not nearly as crappy. Something else. Basically, the system got somewhat less lethal, sort of across the board, because it was pretty lethal. It was actually, and this is funny to me, because this thing is basically a hack of Apocalypse World, which is meant to be like post-apocalyptic shitstorm, and it's actually more lethal than Apocalypse World, the way it was originally done. So I was like, okay, that's more death than I really want in Star Wars. And, I don't really need people to lay up a bed in
Star Wars should not be deathy.
More laming, less death.
It's not that it shouldn't be death. If you look at it, when people get hit, it hurts. Like, nobody ever gets hit and just like brushes it off. It hurts. But the dying tends to be, I don't know, not that much. Well, and when people do get hit and it hurts, they tend to get better relatively quickly. I mean, but, Chewbacca gets hit once and he's like screaming bloody murder. I mean, it doesn't take a lot for people to really start to get hurt. And you'll see, you don't have a lot of hit points. I mean, you don't. And, guns do 2 or 3 points. You're into, vitality heals pretty quickly, but wounds don't. So you're into like, bloody pain pretty quickly. There's a couple of like narrated dodges and you're suddenly in pain. And that's fine, but there's also ways to keep that from happening, keep death from happening. But I don't know. Some of it was just like the healing, aside from being written kind of poorly, or at least hard to parse, was just like, oh, I don't want people in bed for 2 weeks because they got shot by a blaster. That's just crazy pants. We've got med kits, damn it. We've got back to tanks. We have technology.
We're not afraid to use them.
We have technology that's akin to magic. Okay. When you guys have sorted out your characters, and think about bonds, or if you have, there's a reason that bonds matter. We don't need to do them right now, but they do kind of. I'll circle back to them if you guys want to help, because your bonds with other characters determine what you're rolling when you want to help them. So if you have a bond with them, and also how many bonds you have with them, because you can have more than one with the same character from different directions or whatever, determines what you're rolling when you want to help them or hinder them and get in their way. So that's what you add rather than adding a stat for things like that. Questions thus far? And now I'm going to go look and see if Catherine got her move. Oh, I am invincible. Of course. I should have known. I didn't think you would be able to give up the name of it, if nothing else. What's that from? GoldenEye?
Yes.
Is that,
Yes.
Is that the one?
The one with the big satellite thing.
Such a slog.
Yeah. Okay. And who else needed to? Oh, Esmond had his moves. Ghana had his moves. Akana. I think does everyone have? I think everyone's got. Oh wait, did Alir? Did you get your stats? Oh,
Yeah.
you swabbed yourself up a little bit. That's good. At least to a 0. Lack of penalty is good. And if you guys, you saw how the add button works, so if you want to put your bonds in and all that kind of stuff, do that. I will leave that for right now so I can ask some questions. So what we're going to do, rather than jumping right into, I realize some of this you guys, Catherine and Margie may not know. Rather than jumping right in where we were in town, we're going to do a little flashback because backup's not here. And I thought it'd be nice to just kind of, I want to use these characters, but I wanted to do something that was a little bit slightly removed. So we're going to do a little flashback episode to that thing that everybody did, that thing that happened when we decided to go and make contact with the nearby village while backup was busy with the Kama ray. You know, that thing. Which apparently...
Working with the same goals.
I can hear you through Margie's... I can hear you through Margie's mic, but not yours, Dave.
You're not on right now.
How's that?
There.
Much better.
Oh, hey. So are we still working with those same meta goals that we had defined
Yes.
previously?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and that can you if you want to scribble that, you know, type that in there to that thing as another thing that you can get XP for. Totally fine. So, Dave, or let me see, Akana would get XP for achieving, you know, space superiority over the planet. Good luck with that, or at least something akin to that. Alir would be getting XP for, I can't remember what I ended up saying. It was something having to do with electronic security or infiltrating the Empire. Ghana was getting
Sabotaging the Empire.
There you go, sabotaging the Empire. Ghana was going to get XP for making contact, like sort of recruiting, making allies and recruiting. And Hesmet was... I'm not sure what you're...
It was taking on and defeating enemy forces, which I get XP for that already. So
right, which is kind of yeah. So just
Double
roll
XP.
lots of misses. Yeah, no, not double XP. Roll
Double
lots of
XP.
misses. You'll get extra XP that way. You just roll lots of misses. Always fun for me. So I had some questions I wanted to ask about this before we get rolling. Ghana already asked that people who live in the villages away from the cities aren't there to be. So, okay, I ask everybody a question, and we'll think about, I'm gonna go into this now. And I ask Ghana, people who live in villages away from the cities aren't there to be one with the jungle like the Beast Rider tribes you meet. They have other reasons. What are some of the reasons you've heard for these settlements over the years as a native of the capital? What sort of Onderonian customs are practiced more in the hinterlands of Onderon these days and less often in the modern cities? And if I can paraphrase Dave, I think it was like a lot of them are out of the city to stay away from the empire and the oppression. And they've sort of gone back to some old religious practices that have been sidelined for quite some time, either because there's actually belief there or they just find the idea of that superstition comforting and sort of in the face of the empire. And everybody's got their own little reasons for it. But sort of the old gods and animal totems and things of that nature. Is that about right?
Yep.
Okay. I'm skipping back up because he didn't give me an answer. Alir, what's weird about the satellite data on file for the area around the village? And actually, I think I tweaked that question when I actually put it on the website. I think it was what's weird about the satellite / topographical data for the file on file for the area around the village.
Yeah.
You can think about it. If you want me to circle back to you, I will. But I want to find out what.
Would you mind circling back?
I will absolutely circle back. My question for Hakana is, what product of well, actually, 2 questions. What product of Onderon's wild could you sell for a nice profit if you could only get it off world? And corollary to this, tell me about the crime syndicate who normally handles smuggling stuff in this area, in this sector of the galaxy. Whether it's the Black Sun or some other whatever. And then Hesmet, I had 2 questions for Hesmet or just 1? What creatures tend to? I think I ended up with 2 questions, but for some reason I don't have it in here. What creatures tend to prowl this part of the world? And I think I asked you something about
whether or not before they were,
yeah, whether or not they were village folk or if they'd been city folk before they were sort of captured by the Empire and put to work in a work camp.
Mm-hmm.
So, who wants to? Because Dave did his homework already. So who wants to throw answers out there?
The one I know is I would think that Hesmet's family was city folk.
Okay.
Probably on the lower end of that, but.
So like right in the capital there and like in a slum area or like a lower income inner city kind of thing?
Yeah, probably in the slum area.
I'm trying to remember, were they rebels or like resistance folk, or were they simply easy targets because they didn't have...
Well, in my mind, I think that they were probably already kind of a bit shady, and it was more of, well, time to make up your debt to the Empire.
No one's going to complain if we put you in a work camp. So you weren't so much resistance guys as, arrested for like walking while Onderonian.
I mean, if Hesmet wasn't a rebel, he'd probably be a thug. So
I don't think you should really rule that out. I mean, I feel like it's really possible for him to be. Why not both?
It could be both.
Really?
No. That's thinking high. That's dreaming high there.
Rebel thug.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the creature that tends to prowl this part of the world.
That one's hard.
Okay, you think about that. Akana?
Well, I think that there's 2 things in the jungle that are interesting, and one links into the crime syndicate. There is an interesting, I guess a niche it feels here is a lichen that has a hallucinogenic and dissociative property to it, and so it's quite popular in the slums where
Popular
that's
around
where it
here.
came from.
I feel like if you could just get it to Corellia, it would really take off. But it's really kind of a local thing. Is that?
Yeah, and it's a way of dealing with the crime syndicate to get other things done. It's
Okay.
sort of like the sort of like using the opium dealers to
Okay.
making money off of opium to buy weapons, sort of a thing.
Sure.
So there's that, and then there's actually something interesting about the village nearby, and I think I need to sort of talk more with Ghana about it, but I have a feeling that there's something special over there that's
Okay.
Intentionally being sort of hidden away. So there's a certain curiosity there. Maybe
Who
medicinal.
did you need to talk to about it?
Ghana.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, maybe medicinal, maybe something else. But there is something odd over there.
Okay.
See, I gave you a hook.
Yeah, I appreciate this. Alir, did you come up with something weird about the satellite and/or topographical data?
Yeah.
All right. What do you got?
I noticed that in some ways, how to describe this? It kind of seemed like I have the words in my head.
It's late on the school night. I understand.
During homecoming week.
Oh God.
Tomorrow night bonfire.
There are kind of on the satellite imaging. There seem to be less clear or kind of fuzzy spots
Okay.
where
Good.
it just
Okay.
didn't seem to read, like something was almost interfering. But they don't. It's
So it doesn't look
It's
like
not-
a shield or some kind of
Some
electronic.
sort of interference, but not something that you've run. I mean, it's not the way.
yeah, it's not like the entire village area is kind of fuzzed
Well, the village
over.
is. Yeah, the village is village is relatively clear, but there's some areas around there that are kind of wackadoo. Interesting. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Hallucinogenic is a heck of a hard word to spell when you're me tonight, apparently. I'm just going to Marge, if you're going to, I'm going to randomly just grab Black Sun as the sort of the local.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's one of the sort of recurring Star Wars gangs.
Not to be confused with Blue Sun.
Not to be confused with Blue Sun. They're not nearly as cool as Blue Sun, but Hesmo's from thing and Hesmet, Funky Creatures. Anybody?
I would think that it would have to be something ground-based because
There are jungles.
well, didn't our one tribesman ride flying creatures? So
They did. Yes.
So that would be something that kind of would give them a little bit of superiority over this very dangerous creature.
Mm-hmm.
Your alpha predator, as it were.
Okay.
And it keeps to the jungles where it has an advantage. Perhaps it is one of those, chameleon-ish, cloaking into the background sort of creatures.
Lizard-like then?
Yes.
Lovely.
Huh.
Lovely.
So this is the sort of thing people tell their kids, horror stories about. Don't go out there, or it will get you.
The Megrims will get you.
Dinosaurs. Ah!
Dinosaurs, very dangerous.
Curse your sudden yet inevitable
Inevitable.
Trail?
trail. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
To some good inevitable
Did you say
deliciousness.
did you say those were predators on the flyers or
They're
prey
the-
of them?
the I think what he was saying is the Beast Riders favored the flying creatures because they gave them an advantage over these critters. I think otherwise the flyers and these, I'm going to call them Megrims because the word's stuck in my head.
Hey, somebody's crazy.
Catherine's signaling the mothership.
Sorry.
These things and the flyers really don't share the same ecological niches. They wouldn't naturally hunt each other, probably. I mean, the flyers might occasionally grab one, but they don't really, overlap much. But they would totally go after the Beast Riders, so the Beast Riders, consider that an advantage. No, they're more, and they're probably not around here. But then again, how would you know? What with the camouflaging and stuff. Okay, so how are we on bonds, people? Have we scribbled in any?
I have 4 bonds.
You have 4 bonds? Oh, now
I have 4 bonds.
Now I have to look at everybody's bonds.
Yes.
Backup keeps trying to shake me up. They have a lot to learn. Ghana and I have worked together in the past. Ghana has my back no matter what goes down. That's nice. It's two for that. I've been keeping a wary eye on Akana for some time now. Interesting. Interesting. No bond with Alir? No bond with Alir? You guys hacked the Empire together and you have no bond?
There wasn't a good one that fit there.
Well, you can make up one. You don't have to pick one of those. That's just the starter, write something in. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
And if you're not happy with one of those exactly how it works, I mean, those work, certainly. But just write one. Those are the
if you
starter home version.
If you can't think of anything better ones.
They're good at the start of a character, but we're not at the start of any of these characters, really. So
fair enough.
Kana, Alir seems to understand me where a few others do. I love that you've made Alir a guy in yours, Dave. That's awesome. I think really everybody should just project Alir as a different gender. That's just awesome. I may have a small crush on Backup. That's awesome. I've sensed Hesmet's emotions / thoughts and found something dangerous there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You don't need the Force for that.
What could be?
I have the Force. I've sensed anger in Hesmet. Dude, seriously. You don't need the Force.
That rock over there says danger in Hesmet.
You just need to have lunch with them. You don't need the Force.
Can I have a link with our cranky android?
Oh, absolutely. Wait, cranky android.
Tour.
Tour.
Or tour. Droid? Yeah, absolutely. Tour. I actually made up a playbook just for because the thing is the game didn't come with a droid playbook, so I made one. I'm quite happy with it. When you pursue your primary function, take a +1 ongoing to any efforts to pursue your primary function. If you achieve a goal pertaining to your primary function, mark XP. Take 2 harm to re-roll any roll. I'm thinking of R2-D2 shorting himself out to hack the Death Star. This is a particularly good one for a droid character. Now, droid companions don't get this. NPC, this is like if you're a droid PC. One of them's designed to assist. When you aid someone who's rolling a non-combat move, the bonus from your help will stack with the help from another PC, which makes droids like the ultimate support character to play. It's like playing the cleric, because you can assist. It doesn't matter if somebody else is helping because you can double up. Kind of cool. You can interface with machines and some other stuff. It's fun. Also, they can't exactly die. If they die, there's a move for somebody to use their canny to fix them back up and either fix up their body or put them back in another body. Kind of fun. Anyway. Oh, that's something else I should mention. And I didn't. Ooh, I need to put these down somewhere. If you haven't yet looked at them, take a look at your playbooks. Every character has 2 drama moves. Okay. They're moves that are specifically for certain kinds of things. And there's basically 2 different moves. One of them is the move that happens when you die, and the other one is the move when you open up to somebody in some sort of moment of you open up to somebody. I don't know how to call it. Emotional intimacy, whatever you want to say. You know, it's that moment on Arrow or Flash or something when it's like, can you guys give us a second? And they sit there and talk to each other. Because that's like CW code for we're going to have a moment. We're doing a one-on-one PvP social conflict, whatever. So for example, the droids, they have this special thing when they die. And then the drama move for the droids is when you open up to someone, hold 1 on them. When they're next in trouble, you can spend that point of hold to show up in the nick of time. I can't remember what the drama move is for. Alir's drama move is if you open up to somebody, you each get a point of hold, and then at some later point, you can spend that point to help them, even if you're nowhere near them. Basically, so you can get like remote help just automatically or whatever, and they can do the same thing with you. I can't remember what the pilot one is. I should have probably looked that up. I forgot to mention. I need to put that on the character sheets. I forgot to put that on. I should have put that in there as like moves, like drama moves and stuff. I totally forgot to do that. I apologize. I will get those on there, or you guys can do that while I'm babbling. Ghana, what did you? Have you got the playbooks up?
Yes, I do.
What is yours? What is yours?
I've got 2 of them. When I die, should I tell the when I die one?
Sure.
When I die, I pick a character. When they next visit my workspace, they'll find a message waiting for them and a gift, something I've made just for them. So
Nice.
Tell them the message, detail the gift. Use it. Lovely.
That's really, I like that. See, some of these moves are so cool you almost want to die. Hesbit, I'm saving yours for last because your death move is the best death move ever.
And also, when I open up to someone, offer them a piece of advice for the future, if they follow through with it, they take +1 forward in doing so, and I mark experience.
I like that sort of the Zen mechanic. Like, it's the perfect move for like Chief from Battlestar Galactica, you know, or something. Or at least early Chief. Anyway. But yeah, that's fun. What is, Margie, do you have it open? Can you see the ace one?
I think I'm in the wrong place.
No, that's the right place.
You want the page that doesn't have a picture of the ace on it. You want the other page, and then at the bottom of the first column on the second
right there.
page.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. When you die, if you're piloting a vehicle, destroy the vehicle and deal 4 harm up
Armor
to a
piercing.
target.
The AP stands for
to a
armor
target
piercing.
you choose. If you're not piloting a vehicle or for any remaining ships you own, choose 1 character and give your ship to that character. Gain +1 to all piloting rolls made with that ship.
Nice. Very cool. What's your the share a moment thing?
Ask them a question about your relationship. They must answer it honestly.
Nice. And if they do, what happens? Does it say?
That's where it cuts
Oh,
off.
no, they just have to to answer honestly. So you can always get somebody to be straight with you about how they see you or how they
If you
relate.
open up to them.
Yeah, nice. Husband will be like, no, to be perfectly honest, you scare me. Husband, what are your?
The other way around. Husband scares everybody.
I think it's great that Husband's actually like kind of on edge around you. Husband, don't save your death move for last because it's awesome. What's your intimacy move?
So my drama move is when you open up to someone, you may tell them a secret fear you hold, a vulnerability of yours, or about a meaningful moment in your past. If you do, they must do the same.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
And your death move?
When you die, you can choose to trigger a dead man switch and set off an explosion, 4 harm close area around you.
Nice.
Yeah, 4 harm, close area of effect.
So that means I have 4 different moves that involve explosives.
Yeah. You had 4 different moves that involved explosives on the old version of the character. They pretty much all involved explosives on the old version of the character.
To a degree.
To a degree, yeah. But yeah, you have a lot of. You're pretty. Now you don't have to be, but certainly the different things that we picked up have a lot of explosives on. You have lots of bomb things going on, but that's how it is. Incidentally, the guy who cobbled together this hack, the Star Wars world thing, he's got his own like community up on Google Plus that's public with people in it and so forth. And I shared these playbooks, and his feedback. The droid one he didn't really say very much about, because his take has always been, if you want to play a droid, play a droid. Just grab any one of the playbooks and say they're a droid. Which, okay, fine. But I kind of like the droidiness of the droid playbook. Mm-hmm. But the partisan and the slicer he deemed absolutely badass and thought they were just tons of fun. So, yay. Good for us. All right. So Hesmet is, as you guys are moving through the jungle, Hesmet is explaining the chameleon creatures and how they're very difficult to spot, and probably why backup hasn't seen one around here. Or maybe they aren't around here. It could be they're not around here. Blank and I have made out before. Nice! Catherine, did you see that? Because it's awesome. What? Wait,
no, I'm giving it to her to use.
Oh. Alir needs to put that in there for Ghana.
I'll put Alir in.
I'll put Ghana in.
You guys need to both have it in, pointed at different people. Let's figure out how many people have made out in this place. Awesome.
Or any of them male.
It's very boring at the base.
I don't.
I thought she was a he.
I don't see. I'm not necessarily.
I know all there is to
We're gonna-
know about the crying game.
We're going to find out that Alir is actually one of those shape-shifting creatures that Margie was playing.
I like it. That would be perfect.
It's just like male, female, whatever. What day is it? Oh, I'm a guy? It must be Tuesday.
And it's based on humidity. You know, so we're in the jungle right now, so, you know, Alir's male, because there's high humidity. It's like...
I am frequently male, but never in a desert climate. It's too dry.
What are the fish? Right. They change gender. They all start female, but if there's no males around, one of them turns male.
Shape shifting, 9 times out of 10. I mean,
there are males around.
Absolutely. I would say, though, 9 times out of 10, if you can really shapeshift and just shift it all, just not being gender would be so much more convenient most of the time. And then, like, oh, we're going to hook up? Okay, what are you? Okay, all right. How would you prefer I select? Right. All right.
I swear I can change, baby. Just tell me what you want.
No, seriously. I can change right now.
Watch!
It'd be funnier if it wasn't. I almost think it'd be cooler if it wasn't, like, quick. Like, it just sort of happened depending on who you paired up with. Like, like if it was just sort of a, or you know, or just happened because of surroundings, you know.
That's why I said humidity.
Somewhat, well, I meant more people, but anyway.
Presto!
The ultimate in hermaphroditic.
Once everybody has all their bonds up, I want to draw out a relationship map because I have to. All right, so as you guys are walking through the jungle, heading towards where the village is supposed to be, Hesman is sort of. You can't tell if he's actually, like, honestly, seriously concerned about these things, or if he's just fucking with all you guys in sort of a cow-tipping kind of way. Like, oh, yeah, they're all through this area. Really, I don't know why backup hasn't seen. Well, okay, I do know why backup hasn't seen them. I mean, they're chameleons, and, you know, that you wouldn't probably see them, honestly, if you're, you know, just
Are we walking to the village, or are we using the speeder bikes?
Well, I don't know. Which would you do? The village isn't particularly far away, and it's a question of whether or not you want to approach. If they hear the Imperials, so the previous dialogue might have been, well, if we walk, you know, we might come across them unawares. if we bring the Imperial speeder bikes, they might hear the bikes and they might hide, or they're gonna, we're gonna put them on a bad foot right away.
So are we talking about it's a 15-minute stroll down the valley or an hour away?
An hour.
Okay.
An hour walking. 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe on the speeder bikes, because you can't really get full. I mean, you can't go, well, okay. Akana could get there a lot faster, but most of you can't or wouldn't want to go that fast. No, I mean, you're not going to see them. I mean, you can, I mean, sometimes, the what they say,
what do they say?
I'm sorry, I got a weird message here. Sorry. What they say is the easiest way to spot them is not by sight, but by smell. I mean, if you pick up like that sort of scent, like a citrusy kind of scent, that's more. That's kind of how you tell that they're there. They're like, are you guys smelling that? Because it's kind of like that, sort of getting it. It's like a berries, sort of like squashed berries, like bruised squash. And as you're kind of looking at Hesmet stirring it, kind of making faces and stuff, you see what? Okay, I see what you guys just said back here in the background. Akana helped me put out the fire back in the base and hasn't told anyone about it yet. That's awesome. I love bonds. Anyway, all right. So he still scared.
Seems right.
Yeah.
Seems right.
That seems fair. And as you guys are seeing Hesmet kind of making this, like, are you guys like the tree behind him? You see like this sort of upside down, large, sort of a cross between a
chameleon.
Well, I was going to say like a gecko and a hellbender salamander, about 8 feet long, sort of upside down, and the trunk sort of fades in.
I think we saw one of those in Africa.
And
about 8 feet long.
Yeah, not 8 feet long, no.
Yes, but 5 feet in broad daylight and still not being able to see it.
It doesn't exactly fade in so much as move in a way that makes it so that the pattern matching doesn't match anymore on the bark. And it's opening its mouth, and you think it's not really close to Hesmet. You think it's like maybe gonna
Spit on him?
It's like spit on him or jump on him. You're not sure what.
Oh my goodness, it's
a lot of lizards open their mouth to smell.
True.
Akana,
what do you do? Well, no, that could be a thought crossing your mind. Akana, what do you do? One side note, there's no initiative in this game, and there's no combat order. It's just kind of who I decide should go next. So we're going to have fun with that. But anyway, Akana, what do you do?
Jump! And I go to push him.
Oh, you're going to like kind of dive at him and...
I'm just going to get him not where he is right now.
Okay. So just so you guys have this as a reference, on the, like, so that where the character sheets and stuff are, there's a tag there for basic moves and secondary moves and what sort of applies. In this case, the basic move that we're going to be using, which is sort of the go-to basic move, it tends to be like, oh, nothing else fits. Oh, well, in that case, we must be supposed to use this one, is act under pressure. Or in this case, act under fire. So I would like you to roll your cool for me, please, while you say jump and sort of run his way and push him down.
Did you get that? There it goes. Oh, sorry.
No, that's good. You got it.
I did it twice, because it didn't go ping. It didn't go ping. The first one, I did the first one, and it didn't go ping like it should.
Okay. All right. I'll let the first one scan. Fine, even though it's a 10. All right. So
I know, nothing interesting.
No, that's fine. So is it more of a diving tackle thing or a shove and dodge out of the way thing, or what's happening there?
I am not going to end up in the space where he was.
So more of a
push and go with him.
more of a diving tackle kind of a thing. So he's running at you, and Hesman, it's like, I'm just joking. I mean, geez, and just and you guys go all the way. And as you dive and tackle him down, you guys are rolling. The thing kind of goes, and its tongue comes shooting out about 8 or 9, like about 3 meters into the space that you guys just vacated. It's like a 3D movie shot, Dave. It comes within like 3 feet of your face, where you're looking at like, and just like, ah.
Are you saying it's like that? Every bad 3D animation of a frog catching a fly?
Yeah, except the tongue is about the size of her head. So
Ew.
on the end, like the tip of it is. So yeah. Anyway. So, Dave, what do you do with the tongue sitting there, being all tonguey and snapping back? And then you're pretty sure, and you're not exactly sure whether you hear it or feel it, but there's more than one out there. You may have sort of accidentally blundered into a
Nest?
Herd?
Well, I don't know about herd.
Convention?
Why did I leave the base?
What, a pride? Would it be a pride?
A slither.
A tongue.
Yes,
a slither of Megrams?
Tongue. Oh.
A tongue of Megrams?
A hidden of Megrams.
I thought you were
hidden
gonna say
of Megrams.
A hit of Megrams.
I like a hidden, an ambush of Megrams.
An ambush.
An ambush of
Nice.
Megrams.
It's a trap.
Yeah, Dave, what do you do?
I hit it with my Hydra spanner.
Okay, so you're gonna rush in. I mean, the tongue retracts.
Okay, so the tongue's not right there where I can hit it.
No, when it snapped to its full extent, it was really close to you, and then it pulled back. So it's back on the tree trunk, which is probably about 4 meters away.
In that case, I would probably actually pull out my blaster instead, because
Okay.
I'm not going to charge the giant hell chameleon.
Okay. Now, what do you want to do with this thing? So are you firing
I want to
wildly?
blow it into small, well-camouflaged bits.
Okay, why don't you? Okay, so roll me. So that's going to be going blazing, and that's going to be a roll of your rugged.
Okay,
And you're like, but my rugged is not good. Oh, that's true.
that's not bad.
1. Wow, nice roll. Holy crap! What is the what's the harm on? It's a 2 harm, right? All right.
Too close
So-
energy, loud.
Yeah. So you kind of you whip the thing out, and it's pulling back, but it's because it's had already moved. You can see it pretty clearly, and it's a straight on target shot thing. It's like shooting in the targeting range inside of the base. It's just that way. And you unload at this thing and hit it square on, not really on the head, but more on the back, right between the shoulder blades, and it does that whole scrambling tangle, kind of like I'm dying and too stupid to know it kind of thing, where it's falling off the tree and sort of thrashing around in the underbrush and letting out this sort of high-pitched air escaping from a overpressurized tank kind of sound, and little tendrils of smoke coming off of the blast spots, and
We start hearing the same hissing from all around us, right?
Yes, yeah, you are. You kind of are. You guys, so Akana and Hesmet are kind of pulling themselves to sitting up and seeing this thing thrashing, which not nearly as far away from you as you'd really like it to be with all that thrashing. Alir, what do you do? Because you're actually hearing this hissing from a couple other places around you. You might have
I set off the fire extinguisher system.
No.
I'm imagining Arnold from Magic School Bus going, "Why did I get up today?"
Really? Oh God. Is that all you're doing, or are you doing something
No,
else?
I'm doing something.
I'm just curious. You're kind of. I mean, I'll be frank. You're kind of out of your element here. We know that.
Yes.
You have like what a holdout blaster, some little.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody gave her a blaster.
That's right.
It
Bunch
wasn't
against-
me this time.
It was probably Hesmit.
It was probably me.
That's probably husband. Of course, as a little gift for the. Nice job on that hacking. Here, have a firearm.
Better than giving me a bomb.
Okay,
True.
that's fair.
It's all relative.
I'm sure Alir has used high caliber weapons thousands of times in first person shooters. What could possibly be different?
Yeah.
Galaga.
Thus, you have come up with the premise for the XXX movies with Vin Diesel. I played first-person shooters and done extreme sports, therefore I'm ready to be a spy. Okay. So do you want to try to locate and shoot one of these things? Or what do
Yeah.
you want to do? All
I
right.
want
Let's see
to
about.
try and
You
see if I can
know,
spot another one of these guys.
since you are somewhat out of your element here, and also they're still kind of camouflaged, I think you're going to. So I'm going to have you roll canny for this first to just try to figure out what's going on. So that's canny in.
Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh.
Or uncanny as it may be.
Oh. Okie dokie.
Things
Okay.
My
get
training
complicated.
did not prepare me for big lizard
Lizards.
with
Camouflage
tongue.
lizard guys. Yeah. Hang on one sec. I gotta check something out here real quick. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, shoot. Okay. So Dave is still staying. He just did the shooting. Hesmet's sitting up. Kana's sitting up. Hesmet.
Yeah.
If you ever want to feel like you're on the verge of total abject bowel releasing terror, try making your way a click or two out of the forest at night with a certain feeling you're being hunted. Makes you feel alive, but not in the way you want to feel alive. Nice. Hesmet, as you're sitting up, you realize that so you've spotted a couple of these things moving. There are like 3 other ones. One of them is directly above and about to, you think, either drop on or lasso Alir.
because no
She
one
does-
ever looks up.
She
No one
flat
does.
out, yeah, she flat out does not see this thing. And there's no way with her, well, shouting is probably just going to make her look up at the worst possible time. You can do a couple of different things.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sprint right over there, just sort of bound up, out of my seated position now that I
crap.
see that we're surrounded. And basically when the thing goes to when it goes to drop its tongue down on her, I'm just going to, run in there, grab the tongue and try to throw it out of the tree.
Okay. Because
Nice.
the timing on this, you have so little time to react that odds are you're going to be getting there almost exactly as this is happening. So you're putting yourself in some pretty significant danger here.
That sounds like stand in defense to me.
Stand in the. Oh, I like that. Yes, let's do that. You're likely going to take some harm from this, but by all means, let's stand in defense.
All
Or in
right.
this case, in defense. So Yes. Standard defense. On a 7 to 9, choose one. You suffer little harm.
I would.
You see what you're defending to safety, or your efforts inspire.
You're kind of cutting out on me there.
You broke up, Joyce.
I'm there. So what do you? Am I still cutting out?
Yeah, you froze there for a moment.
You're better now, though.
Awesome.
No, yeah, it seems like your network connection's kind of dropping out.
My internet collapsed into a gibbering heap about 10 minutes before the game started. Collapse. So if that happens,
Hey,
I'll
that's
be back,
okay.
but,
The phone company cut our phone line when they were repairing our neighbor's phone line, so we didn't have a landline for a couple of days.
awesome.
So,
It's gibbering, not gibbering.
Gibbering? What did I say?
You said it's gibbering, not gibbering.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh. Okay.
Just like it's GIF, not GIF, but just
I'll
saying.
take that one to my grave.
So that,
Civil War.
I'm surprised I said gibbering because I usually say gibbering. Anyway.
Yes.
Anyway.
Well, I believe the nice thing to do would be to see what I'm defending, go to safety. I think the Hesmet thing is inflict harm on my attacker.
Okay. So you're gonna. So you. Let me just look at your sheet here. You got a knife. I think you have a.
I do not have a knife.
Don't you? You should have a knife. Have a knife. Put a knife on there.
Okay.
There's nothing else for stripping wires on the explosives you're cobbling together.
Seems fair.
Okay. So you get in there, and as the Alir's not so much out of it's like Hesman's diving at you and sort of punches.
He's got a knife.
Yeah, he's got a knife. He sort of cuts your head, and you're like, "Hey, this is really cool." Like what? And slap. It kind of something sticky catches your hair. Hesman's kind of got it by the. It's sort of you come with your fist, so it's stuck. It burns. It burns. So whatever is sticky is also kind of. But then you kind of yank down on this thing. Unfortunately, it's kind of stuck to a layer, jerking her around a little bit too. And then you reach up basically as far as you can, and just into the thing's tongue, and yank it down a little bit. That causes it to retract, but you don't let it go. And it's there's sort of this tug of war thing where it's trying to lift you off the ground. You're trying to yank it down. You get it far enough to like pull the knife back out and stab it in the eye. And again, with the shrieking and everything like that, you're kind of knocks Alir down and out of the way a little bit. And you kind of have to almost stand on the tongue to pull your hand loose from the sticky stuff. You take a point of harm. So check a box there. From your hands all like kind of red and swollen skin.
I got little wisps of
like
steam
allergic
coming off of them.
Off of it or you?
My hands.
No, it's more like in this alive kind of reaction than a burning. Well, I guess it's a different kind of burning. Exposure to juices. So you remember old gaffers that would tell you about this kind of stuff? Gaffers, whatever. Would tell you about this stuff. It's like, no, they don't get you with the tongue. They turn their whole stomach out and grab you and pull you back in. And you're thinking, oh, that's great. I just stabbed it in the stomach. That's all. And I can't remember what creature I'm quoting when I say that, but that's actually a creature on an actual terrestrial thing that exists that throws its sticky stomach out of its body to capture
sea cucumbers, I believe.
Yep. Things and pulls it back. Yeah. Oh, so imagine that as a chameleon lizard. Hooray! But that was a good. What was that? Mixed things. So we got them in that. And Akana. There's two more.
Hang on a sec.
Or is she away from the thing?
She was AFK, but she's just sitting back down.
Alir, having been knocked flat, what do you do? I'll switch to Alir for a second. So you're kind of not, Hesmet's got this body. He's like stabbing this thing. And it's Gore kind of getting...
Take pictures. Selfie!
So going on Tumblr later.
Hesmet's butt and the giant lizard.
What do you do? Or do you not do anything at this point? Because
I look up above me, delayed reaction.
Okay. Akana, actually, and are basically doing that coming in from two different directions thing. Hesmet sort of attacked one of them. He's sort of in the middle and then stalking it from both sides. Kind of on your butt in the fronds there, but you could probably do something.
Yeah. Given that they're coming from different directions, I'm going to spray fire just in an arc where anyone isn't.
Okay.
Flamethrower.
Next time.
Okay. Why? Give me. It's going to be the same stat that you're rolling for either one of these things. But go ahead and roll rugged. I think this is going to be actually sort of defense, just in kind of a weird way. Attention to yourself, but
Not a bad roll.
Not a bad roll at all. All right. So I'm pulling up the wrong thing again, of course.
This is not a panic. Just so you know.
You want to drive them away from Hesmet and Alir, or just hurt them?
I'm trying to discourage any further encroachment in an arc of fire that does not seriously endanger the people here with me.
A burning ring of fire?
Okay. I'll get to. So you're firing. You're kind of.
I'm doing a classic, action, show. Just. Actually, I should turn my video on for that, so you didn't see it. Okay. So just a classic.
Yeah.
And a little bit up, just to be safe.
Ghana. One of the creatures that's coming in on Hesmet. The other one's not really in the right arc. Them with what shoot Hesmet also. So the other one's sort of coming in from the right. What do you want to do? Here's the force, Luke.
I'm sorry.
Did you say my name in there?
Yes.
Yes, Ghana.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Am I breaking up a lot? 'Cause I'm sort of hating my.
You are sort of breaking up, so I missed your name.
Or your name.
Or my name.
Or her name.
Or her name. Yeah.
Ghana, and the question is, there's one still coming in from the right who's not sort of covered. What do you do? And then I whisper.
Yeah.
Luke.
Sure.
Luke is not a
I'll
good
do.
role model.
Probably not. All things considered, probably not.
But I wanted to go to the village to collect recruits.
So the first thing you need to do, Dave, if you're gonna, are you gonna use the force?
Sure,
I will call on the force.
Oh, no, you're deep. Actually, no, you don't
So-
roll for that, do you?
No, I don't.
No, I don't.
I just
You call on the force.
I
I
suffer
suffer one harm.
Is just a vitality hit, and you gain 3 force points to spend as you like. And then you're going to be doing, well, depending on what, doing something new and interesting with the force, since everything is new and interesting for you with the force.
Are these? Is this thing coming on the ground?
It's doing kind of
through
like
the
the cat,
branches?
like doing the thing where the cat, like after having sat there and wiggled its butt a bit, is doing the rush in kind of thing. Does that explain
Have
it
a
pretty well?
branch fall on top of it?
You could do, yes, absolutely. So probably
I do have
just
to
cost
say,
you
I'm
force points.
probably doing this in fear. Just since that has an impact. I suffer no harm, but you make a hard move.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so you don't take the harm, and you act in fear, and I like that, or hubris. So that gets you the force points. Just make a note on your hold there that you've got like, well, you're gonna have 2 for.
Yeah, I'm writing it.
Spend on some. Okay, and I'm gonna look at something here real quick. Yeah.
So I think I need to roll.
Yeah, you need
deep.
to roll deep and see what you get.
Deep, man.
Fascinated by this. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh. Okay.
That's not a good
On a
sound.
miss, it's not at all how I expected, or the costs are severe. GM's choice.
XP?
Yeah, it's a miss.
Woohoo! Mark XP.
How many of those do I get to mark?
Just the one.
Damn.
Just the one for the miss. Oh, where in the heck is what I'm looking for? Oh, there we go. Perfect. All right. So as soon as you all right. As soon as you really reach into this connection, I've had this before. Where you sort of feel the pulse of the planet in your mind, kind of thing, for whatever reason. And I'll get coming back, but so this is kind of all happening.
We're losing you again, Doyce.
What? Okay. All right.
Akana, I shoot at my guy and pulls back and hisses, then shoots the tongue at me.
You?
Yeah.
Well then. No, it's not the kind of cute tongue that Ghana would be hoping for.
It could be that my There's gigantic pictures downstairs, and that's why my internet connection is terrible. Shouldn't matter because I have to handle like 8 simultaneous Netflix streamings at the same time, but oh, that's what happens with Akana. You got the thing like shoots, and she kind of flinches the other way, grabs this tree kind of faster, but having gotten tree branch rather than person, it retreats and goes. Dave, when you kind of open up to the Force in this area, something happened here a long time ago. It doesn't feel like a long time ago. It feels like you're standing right here. The trees, as you're seeing them right now, are much smaller. Their clearing is much broader, and there's some sort of like walking mecha, kind of spider-like, sort of stomping through the area. And exact standing is this woman in like you look like you're her. These big black robes that like not really robes, like wrapped really tightly around the limbs and that kind of thing. You feel like this metal thing over the lower part of the face, kind of fastened there, hissing in the moist, heavy air. It feels yet at the same moment like feels both immediately present and far in the distant past. And she's standing there with like this blazing red weapon in her hand, kind of hissing and crackling, reaching out and has like some sort of primitive Onderonian. I shouldn't say primitive, but not modernly attired, but Galaxy is old, and people have had blasters for discovered the tech over and over again. So you've got this sort of like native Onderonian in herb, and some sort of hand weapon, like a heavy, almost shillelagh in the other hand, hanging in the air in front of her, and and strangling and like kind of thing. And when you blink and you see this other vision, and you blink again and you're and as you look and you relax your hand, and the now quite dead ground where it had been standing where it had been like basically, and what you guys saw was this thing was like, well, who would have seen this? Alir would have been about the only person to see. Was like basically she turned and saw this thing, and suddenly it was yanked upward into the air, and like its windpipe crushed unceremoniously to the ground.
Okay.
Now I hope to God you guys actually heard all of that.
Oh no.
No, about
Right.
every third word.
5%, 80%.
Oh man! All right.
But I think you got the gist.
Yeah.
The gist of it is that you had some sort of vision of some strangling some dude, and at the same time you were apparently, because you were chadness happened on this spot, you sort of found yourself while sort of zoned out of your own body and strangled this thing rather horribly.
I'm not sure that's a good thing.
No, I wouldn't call it that.
Ghana feels bad.
Aww. Indiscriminate killer. Ha ha. But she's still a hottie.
So, Hesmet's pulled loose of the tongue.
I have a question about that.
Yes, sir.
I forgot. So I took 1 harm from that.
Yes,
I also have armor that is armor.
yes. That's counting the armor.
Okay.
Armor. You actually took harm of 1, but it would have normally done 2 harm with its acidic tongue yanking and whatnot.
Just want to make sure.
Yep. Your armor is relatively light. It's more like a body kind of a thing. So, I mean, you gloves, we could say all that kind of things, but in this case, we're going to go with that through a little bit of damage. So, Dave, something bad definitely happened. And there's the stain of the dark side, although I don't know that you would really even have the terminology to describe it.
Yes.
Happened here, and it sort of stained this area. That's probably... If I'm cutting out a lot, guys, we should probably stop.
Typing that.
All right.
But we can't go too late tonight.
Yeah. So because we had a bunch of prep stuff and things like that, here's what I'm going to say. My internet's still super hazy, and I'm not super thrilled about that. The village lies ahead. I'm going to open up the next, and then we'll do that next session, and we'll stop a little bit early, and I will call that provider yet again to come back and see if they can fix this damn problem, because it's crappy.
Gloria just got new Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah.
She's got 1 day of success going on. So.
Well, she's.
I guess there's hope.
Right. I mean, it's so hit or miss. It just completely cuts out. All right. So, Alir, do you like you saw this happen? Do you do anything? What do you do this thing? I don't know how much you guys are really aware that Ghana can do stuff like
Yeah, it's something she's shared much.
this. Do you lose your damn mind, or do you kind of like go, oh crap, I just saw a chupacabra. Force chupacabra. She's
I don't think I'm at force part of it.
Oh no,
Say that.
he's doing the same thing. You were
Yeah, I
all
was gonna-
ping-pongy.
I'm not disturbed by the force part.
Okay, you disturbed by the strangling and neck breaking and.
I would say that's disturbing, because she's such a nice girl.
I kissed her once.
Are you saying something, Joyce?
That might be the end for Doyce.
Hello, Polly Parrot. It is dead, deceased, no more. If it
It's
wasn't
dead,
nailed
ma'am.
to the perch, it'd be pushing up pansy. Posies.
Posies.
This, sir, is an ex-parrot. Oh, I made Belle listen to the Philosopher song today.
Oh, good. I don't think her parents will approve. Since apparently every ancient philosopher had drinking problems. According to Monty Python.
There goes Doyce.
No, it's a real person who's very,
Uh,
very stable.
He just dropped off the call.
Yep. And I think we're still
Mom.
live.
Oh, okay. You don't want me to sing then?
Technical difficulties are occurring. Now is not the time to sing about Aristotle being drunk.
But when is then?
Yeah.
In history class?
Well, yeah, but some of us don't have history class.
Sucks for you.
Indeed. Well, I sent Doyce a text letting him know that he dropped off.
I think you muted yourself, Dad.
I heard you perfectly fine.
I think you were hearing it through Margie's.
Test, test.
Test, test. Now I have green
There you
dots.
go.
I sent Joyce a text saying, "Hey, you dropped off."
Bye-bye. Thank you for playing.
What did you do?
If the GM leaves the room for more than 10 minutes, does that mean the kids can...
If the teacher doesn't arrive 15 minutes after the bell rings, aw,
Oh my God! It's alive!
and in a different room.
Okay, that
Oh,
was
that's a
very
delay.
bizarre.
Okay. So I'm connecting via my phone. Can you guys even hear me?
We can.
Okay.
We can also hear all of our own voices.
It's probably not good. I tell
coming
you what,
back
I
in.
will write up the transition from the from this scene to the next scene. I'll write it up and post it. And because I'm right now I'm online because the internet just cut out again. And
Okay.
I can barely hear you guys, so there's just too much data for my phone to deal with on this, doing nothing but 4G. So I apologize. I hope that our first test of this system was workable, and we will get another chance to do it next week when everybody's back.
If nothing else, we
I'm
did
super
come up with some great connections.
I love the bonds. I am so happy about those. I can't even begin to say. So next session, we'll probably play through the rest of this thing, and then we'll go back to the stuff in the city. So we'll stop doing that as a flashback. So I have to figure out some way of backup. Like, after you guys run into the creatures, maybe you're like, you know what? Maybe backup should have come. So that works out. Anyway, all right. I will. I'm gonna hop off. I wonder if I can figure out how to shut this thing off of a live broadcast. But
Hopefully when all of us
disconnect, it'll just
drop out, it will stop.
Maybe.
That's my thought. Who knows? Google is crazy.
Thanks, Joyce.
And my internet's back up, so we'll see if I can do anything. See you guys later. Thank you. I'm so glad we got a chance to do this. I look forward to doing it some more.
Yeah. Thanks, Joyce.
Bye.
Bye.
Yep. Bye, guys.